Hello, I am Mr. Parrot, and if you are watching this, unfortunately, I was not able to be there tonight because we had a baseball game that's currently going on. I might be there later on in the afternoon, or maybe you ended up couldn't come to the Meet the Teacher night, so you're watching this little video here as a way of being introduced to everything. Like I said, I am Mr. Parrot. A little bit about me specifically here, since it is Meet the Teacher, and I'll move my face a little bit to let you see the other things there too. I grew up in Washington, Illinois, right down the street. Went through kindergarten through, high school there. I then went to ISU, where, got my degree in biology, teaching. And then I went to the American College of Education for my master's degree. This is my 14th year here in Morton, my 15th year overall teaching. I currently live in Washington with my wife, Erin. She is, other direction. She's up there in the corner. We got our third grader named Blake, our first grader named Kyle. Blake's the one with the glasses. Kyle's the one next to the dog down there. And then we got two dogs, Jamer and Max. You'll see them on the next slide there. When we get things going, I'm going to move this up to the top so you can see the other things on this slide. I am, besides doing the 7th grade science teaching for the green team, I'm also the JV or the 7th grade baseball coach. It's my 10th year doing that. I am the T3 sponsor, which is our board gaming club here at the junior high. It's my 8th year doing that. That gets usually started up in like November after the baseball season wraps up. I am also the green team leader, which is my 7th year doing that. What that means is that if you have something that you need to share with to the entire team, you can email me. I will share it out. I'm the one that creates like the meetings, does a lot of the parent setup. So anything like that you need, I can be your one-stop shop for that stuff. And I'm also the Scholastic Bowl coach. It's going to be my 2nd year doing that. I took over that responsibility last year. That'll also get started up in the winter. Kind of trivia team if you're not familiar with what Scholastic Bowl is. So there's two more pictures. So my two sons over there on the left side. Kyle's the small one, Blake's the bigger one. And there's our two dogs. Still another dog in the other picture. That was our, he passed away last year. That was our dog Leo. But we since have two other dogs. We've got Jammers, the big one there. He's a pit bull. And then we got Max, who's a corgi. They're both, Jammer's about a year old. The corgi is about 5 months. So, chaotic energy in my household right now. I'll move myself again so you can fully see things. So what we're doing in science this year is that science we divide up into 4 major topics. Now already you're probably thinking there's 5 things on the bulleted list there. That's because we start everybody off with what we call our science skills. And it's basically like a little science boot camp of just general science things, how we're going to run science, kind of some of the skills that are going to be needed as we go through the different topics throughout the year. So that's going to last for like the first couple of weeks to maybe a month. And then we get into the actual content that we do this year, which is going to be about biology. And biology is the study of life, so all these things have to deal with living things in one way or another. Either learn about ourselves and our own bodies, or learning about the world around us. That's kind of what biology brings to the table. So we usually start off with cells, then we go into a little bit of like DNA with your genetics and heredity and stuff like that. We then kick over to we start small and then we grow bigger. We then get into the big aspects of things like natural selection, survival of the fittest, our ecology, which means our environment and how that all plays a role into things. So we kind of have this progression of start off small and then we get bigger and bigger throughout the year until we see the whole world for what it is, which is what ecology will be. So those are kind of our 4 major topics of the year. The thing that you're probably maybe the most interested of all this is how the grades are going to look. And I base my stuff off of total points, which means there's no like calculating out percentages. There's no weighing grades with me or anything. It's whatever it is, whatever it is. So what I've done is that I went back into last year and kind of looked at our averages for some of the assignments and kind of put a little kind of example of each one kind of up there. So usually tests we have about 1 a quarter. Those are going to be worth like 40 to 50-ish points. It depends on how much content we actually covered. Those are some of the bigger grades. We've got homework. Expect them to have homework 3 or not 5 times a week. That'd be daily. But like 2 to 3 times a week. A lot of the times I give them about like 10 minutes to do it in class. And for a lot of times, that's enough for kids to get stuff done. It's maybe like 5-10 questions. It's just a little wrap up at the end of the day to just kind of like, what do you remember from the day? Just kind of, repeat some of those things to kind of make it stick. We also do labs and activities. Sometimes you'll see that stuff come home because if they'll finish like the main bulk of the activity in class, but sometimes they might have like the afterward questions to kind of finish up with. So you might see that from time to time. There's about maybe 1 to 2 of those a week to it. And then this is something new, so it might not stick all the way throughout, but at least for the first quarter, we're going to have weekly what we call concept checks, where it's going to be just a small little 5-point quiz each week. They can use their notes on it, but it's just like, here are the main ideas that we covered this week in like 5 questions, just so they can like get a grasp of how things are going to be and how things kind of work. And it also kind of let them see maybe some of the questions that could pop up on like a test or something later on there in a more low stakes environment. More to say. Most of the work is going to be on Schoology, so they'll use their iPads for a lot of things. It's just an easier way for me to accept and kind of get stuff back. They will get some things on paper. I'm going to move myself up a little bit. They will get some things on paper, but those are things that usually they don't have to turn in. So things like notes they'll have on paper. That way they can reference it over here and have their iPad to kind of go back and forth from, so they can kind of use that to their full extent. For a lot of assignments, especially things that are on Schoology, they'll be able to redo assignments. Usually if it's like one of those multiple choice things, I like to call them worksheets. It's like kind of the new form of worksheets. I usually set it so they get 2 attempts, and I take the grade is out whatever they score the highest on. So if they get like a 6 out of 10, they go back through, they say like, oh, they missed number 3 and 5 and whatever, and they won't go back and kind of fix those. They'll retake the assignment, and let's say they got 2 of them correct and go up to an 8 out of 10. That is what's going to show up in the grade book. For other assignments, like a lot of the things we have for labs, we've got as a slideshow, so they can like work through it at a good pace and kind of see the progression of things. If they want to redo those assignments, all they got to do is just talk to me about it. And that's just because it's a lot harder for me to see that grade pop up, because I have to go in there and actually physically grade it still through the computer. So it won't always like notify me that changes were being made to it. So if they just tell me, I'm usually more than welcoming to improve upon things, because that's what it's all about. Learn from the mistakes, and that's why I want to try to get into the mindset of these kids. The other thing that they got Wednesday, yes, it's kind of weird because I'm recording this ahead of time, but the day before they would have gotten their iPads. I covered the iPad expectations. I'll kind of lower this a little bit so you can kind of see them as well. We expect them to have their iPad charged every day. That's the responsibility of the kids. We put into place that to be consistent with it. So they need to have it at least 70% starting first hour. And what we do is that we check to see what their percentages are. And if they are not consistent with it, if they're failing to get their iPad charged daily, they can receive a referral for that, which is kind of silly, getting a detention for not charging your iPads, but it also hopefully is a learning lesson to be like, okay, that's silly that I just got a referral for that. I can plug in my iPad at nights. And that's just what we want to try to build in those habits. So that's kind of the thing that goes along with it. They are school devices and should be treated as such. So that means they can receive referrals if they're caught on something they're not supposed to be during school, like games and stuff. We usually, write them up. So if they're doing something they shouldn't be, there's going to be consequences for it. Most of us are pretty good about when they're not being used or put away, so they're not getting distracted by it. And this is more for the students, but just so you know, they need to have their Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on at all times. That way we're monitoring them in class. We can kind of see them on our own devices, what they're on to it, so that'll be good. We're also doing a new thing where they have to turn off their notifications during the day, so they're not constantly getting berated with different things through mail and power school and all that kind of stuff. They can focus on whatever task is at hand. They don't hear the little bing, and then instantly they're lost for the next 5 minutes because they're wondering what the ding was. If you feel like your student needs a lock on their iPad, whether it's for home reasons or you don't think they need certain things accessed at school here, let us do it. Send me an email. I will gladly put on any lock that you want me to, block any websites that we want you to, put on a screen time thing for you. I will gladly do that, but we just have to have it here at school in case we need to get into it for whatever reason. So just communicate with me. I will gladly work with you and put up anything that you want. But usually we try to let them take that little bit of freedom here as 7th graders, as the junior hires, to kind of learn how to manage their own device and kind of manage it well. And it'll be a learning curve for some of them. But usually by the end of the 7th grade year, a lot of them have matured to a point of responsibility. So it's a nice growth point to see. As the Green Team leader, since I mentioned that I'm the Green Team leader, if you want to schedule a meeting with us, with the whole team, we can sit down all at one time to talk about things. We meet from 10:30 to 11. You can send me an email to meet with us about anything. If it's something specific about a specific class, feel free to email that teacher. So it's about math, feel free to fire off an email to Mrs. Guile. And then if she feels like it's something that we need to bring in, because everybody's feeling the same way, we can bring in at that point. But if you feel like there's a need to meet, 10:30 to 11. And those are usually every day except for Thursdays, because we have building meetings that we have to go to during that time. And then some Fridays, we also have meetings that we have to attend as well. But the beginning part of the week, we're more than welcome to accommodate you and get you in to kind of see what's going on. If you have any questions about science or the Green Team in general, you can send me an email. I'll get back to you. There's my email address. The thing about my name, though, it's not like the bird, so check the spell check for it. It's double R's, double T, so P-A-R-R-O-T-T. That's how you know you got the real deal with me. But I'm excited for another school year here. Excited to get to know the kids. Today was actually the half day, so there's a nice energy going through all the classes today. So I'm excited to kick off another year. And as they say, for the next 180 days here at the junior high, it's a great day to be a junior Potter. Bye.